Welcome back to another English online session. Today I am going to explain you the 10th chapter from the book First Flight. The name of the chapter is The Sermon at Benares and it was written by Betty Renshaw. She was the author of the book Values and Voices. Let's see what this chapter is about. The sermon at Benares throws light upon the life of Lord Buddha, who was originally born as a prince in the royal family. On the being exposed to the sufferings of the world, which he was earlier shielded from, he left his princehood and went in search of salvation, thus leaving all the worldly pleasures behind. Upon attaining spiritual awakening, he gave his first sermon in the city of Benares, hereby making a lady named Kisa Gotami realize that men are mortal and a wise person should not grieve at what is bound to happen, for it only enhances pain and sufferings. Here, this chapter is highlighting the concept that men are mortal and the wise people should not grieve at what is bound to happen, for it. They may pass away or they may leave us at some point of the life. If you are keep on grieving, if keep on worrying about that, it is not a solution. We are mortals. One day we must leave from this world. So here Lord Buddha teaching a lesson to the lady Kisa Gotami. Comparatively, it is a small chapter, but it carries a big message to the reader. Let's see what the message of this lesson. Gautama Buddha was born to a North Indian royal family as a prince and was named Siddhartha Gautama. He was sent to a faraway place when he was 12 years old to study Hindu sacred scriptures, and upon returning 4 years later, he got married to a princess. Soon they both had a son, and they continued to live the royal life for about 10 years. The royals were shielded from all the unpleasant experiences of the world until the prince met a sick man. An aged man, a funeral procession, and a monk looking for alms. These experiences acted as eye openers for him, and thus he left all the royalty behind to seek a higher sense of spiritual knowledge. So, here we understand that he is a very rich person, he is a prince who knew nothing about sufferings, poverty, nothing, because for everything he has his own servants. Good food and all the entertainment facilities, everything he enjoyed for a long time until he saw a sick man who is suffering because of some diseases, an aged man who is struggling because of getting aged. He was very weak, and a funeral procession just remind him, we are mortals. The life is our life is not immortal. One day we have to leave this world. Finally, he met a monk who was begging for alms. So Buddha understand that the life he was leading is not meant for all, and he didn't know any type of sufferings or lack of any comforts, but his loyal subjects are suffering because of these kind of things. He wasn't aware of that. He was leading such a beautiful life, but the other people in his country, his loyal subjects, they are leading such a pathetic life. So this became an eye opener to him, and he started searching for the higher sense of spiritual knowledge. He decided to leave all the comfortable luxurious life and just move on to find the real meaning of life. Gautama Buddha went in search of enlightenment for about 7 years. He finally came across a peepal tree and chose to sit under it till he became awakened. When he finally attained salvation after 7 days, he decided to retitle the tree as the Bodhi tree, which means the tree of wisdom. And he himself came to be known as Buddha, which means the awakened. He even began preaching his new realizations, and his first sermon was given in the city of Benares. The city of Benares is known to be sacred as it resides on the banks of the river Ganga. The first sermon he gave was preserved and it is famous till date. It is given below as well. It gives a new perspective to man's understanding of sufferings. So, as it is explained here, a particular incident he was explaining while he was giving the first sermon. What are the realizations he got by the time of awakened? He was giving it, and he has chosen Benares because it is a sacred place, because it is just on the bank of Ganga. In that sermon, he has given his thoughts about life, the perspective about man's sufferings and man's life. That was given here. An example has been given here to understand the sufferings of life. Let's see what it is. It talks about a lady named Kisa Gotami whose son had recently died. Struck with unending pain and sorrow, she took her son door to door, requesting for a wonder drug that could bring his son back to life. Quite obviously, everyone thought that the lady had lost her ability to think clearly. Going on from door to door, she finally came across a man who couldn't offer any medicine but led her to Sakyamuni, the Buddha. Filled with hope, the lady visited Gautama Buddha and begged him for a cure for her child. Just as the man said, Gautama Buddha had a solution. He asked Kisa Gotami to get a handful of mustard seeds. Restored with hope, Kisa Gotami thought it is a very simple task until Lord Buddha instilled a condition that the mustard seed must be taken from a house where no one has lost a child, husband, parent, or a friend. So here, particularly an incident narrated that a lady approached Buddha to save her child. The child is already passed away. Bring his life back. We all know that it is not possible, but Buddha find a solution to make her understand it cannot happen. It couldn't happen. It is not possible to bring someone's life back. And losing the beloved person, a very close person, is not only her sorrow, or it is the sorrow of the world. Nobody can escape from that. Buddha is going to teach that lesson to Kisa Gotami. We must accept that crying and lamenting on that will not bring the person back. Once again, Kisa Gotami went from door to door, but this time she was looking for mustard seeds. Many had mustard seeds to offer, but none of them could fulfill Lord Buddha's condition of having seen no deaths in the family. Upon being asked, people requested her to not to remind them of their deepest grief. Unfortunately, she couldn't find a suitable home to get mustard seeds for her son. All hope was lost for Kisa Gotami, and thus, in extreme anguish and pain, she found herself a place to ponder at the edge of the road. She continuously watched city lights blinking and observed them till there was just darkness all around. After deep reflection, she realized that man's fate was just like these city lights that flicker and extinguish repeatedly. So here she herself understanding the truth, the life of human being is like these flickering or flashing lights. It just appear and disappear. Nobody can stop it. Once it disappear, you cannot bring it back. You cannot bring someone back to life. That was the reality. And it is not only for Kisa Gautami, it is common to all. She couldn't find anyone who didn't lose someone in their life. The cycle of birth and death is nature's way of working. Suddenly, she became conscious as to how selfish she had been in her sorrow, and that one who was born must rest eternally. Men are mortal, and the ones that are immortals have covered a path free from all the worldly pleasures. According to Lord Buddha, the life of mortals is troubled because they have not made peace with the fact that one who is born must rest eternally. There is no way a living being can avoid facing death. Just like a ripe fruit is more prone to falling, an aged mortal is bound to die. Just like all the earthen vessels break at some point, so do men, whether old or young, foolish or wise, death leaves none. So here she is understanding the eternal rest or death is inevitable. We cannot stop, it is unstoppable. It may come at any point of your life. We must accept it. Whether you are old or young, you are foolish or wise, death leaves none. There is no partiality in that. He was making her understand with a lot of examples, like a ripe fruit is more prone to falling. Just the same way, an old man or aged man is bound to die. He was giving another example, just like an earthen vessel break. Even if you wish to keep it all the time, you cannot. It may break at some point. Okay, it is inevitable. And he also saying that there is no partiality in this death, like whether you are young or old, you are foolish or wise, whatever you are, it may take your life at some point. You have to leave this world, and you should rest eternally at some point. The only way death works is by withdrawing the person from the living world. The person ceases to exist. No one has control over death. Neither a father can save his son, nor a kinsman his relative. Just like an ox is taken to the slaughterhouse to be killed, so does death do with the mortals, leaving none behind. Thus, the one who knows this truth and doesn't grieve at his loss is the one who has been called wise by Lord Buddha. According to Lord Buddha, one should not grieve, weep, or be miserable at something which is bound to happen, for it will keep man away from obtaining peace of mind. So the way to obtain the peace of mind, you should accept the reality. You cannot stop it. You should accept it. You keep on lamenting or mourning on someone's will not bring that particular person back to life. So it is the point that you should accept it and just move on. Whatever happens, you have to move on. You cannot stop time. It keeps going. So you must accept it and you should move on in your life. That's what Buddha was saying. Then only you can attain the peace of mind. Express your grief or lamenting on someone, it will only multiply the pain and suffering, thus leading to physical weakness, and moreover, no amount of grief would bring back the dead. If you are keep on crying for a long time, that is not a measurement to bring back someone back to life, because it is not possible. So you should accept it. It is very important to understand that one must move past feelings like sorrow and grief, as it is the only way that leads to the path of salvation. So you should leave the past pain, sufferings, or grief. Then only you can reach the salvation. You can reach the peace of mind. This is the only way to attain the salvation according to Buddha. I hope you understood the message conveyed through this lesson. So, whatever happens in the past, you should not remain in the past. You should ready to move on. Then only you can do something to attain your peace of mind and salvation. Don't exist in the past. That's what Buddha was saying through his message. Such a wonderful chapter. I hope you understood the message conveyed through this chapter. Now, all of you just read the text thoroughly. Whenever you find a new word, try to find the meaning of the word from the dictionary. See you in the next class. Bye. Take care.